I'm joined by Brock Frost, investor, fund manager, broker, coach, and entrepreneur who's played this game at a level most never reach. He's raised serious capital, built serious assets, and learned the hard way what it really takes to win in real estate and in life. Brock, how's it going?
That was a good intro, man. Thanks for having me, Garrett.
No problem, man. I just saw on social media you booked a trip to North Korea. Talk about risk tolerance.
Yeah, with travel, I have no, fear. I mean, it's just to me, it's like, well, even and actually, we can tie that into business, right? It's like if you look at real estate investing, for example, people are scared, but the alternative is what? Doing nothing.
Yep.
So when I started in real estate, it was like, okay, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no money. I might lose it, but if I don't do anything, I'm going to be broke. With traveling, it's kind of the same thing. If I don't go there, I will not see it.
Yep.
So it's not even really a choice to me. It's like I have a passion to see the entire world, and I'm well on my way, over 110 countries now.
I was just gonna say, man, that's awesome. And you're living the dream. Like you're doing it, you're working while you're going, you're building your brand while you're there. Like I love it, man. It's really cool to see. That kind of ties into like something with like the financial freedom.
Yeah,
What does that mean to you now?
yeah. So when financial freedom means what it always did to me, it's just kind of it's just using money as a tool just to be able to do whatever you want. And literally, when I say every single day when I wake up, I can do whatever I want, no matter what. Like today, I could have, if I woke up and didn't want to meet with you today, I just would have canceled.
Yeah.
But I did. I have nobody. Financial freedom is using money to literally make your own decisions at every step of the way. And it's just doing whatever you want without having to answer it to anybody and not having to worry about can I do it? Do I have the capacity to do it? It's just that money is the tool.
And I love that mindset too, because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's enough just to cover your expenses," or it's like, certain things. It's being able to do what you want when you want. I feel like that's the real, uh, you
I
know,
agree. You just like it's like we have one life, like, and everybody knows that, like, logistically, that we have one life. Well, if maybe the afterlife, you believe in that, but in this realm, we have one life, and it's a very short life relative to the whole time that the planet has been in existence. So I've never had the mindset of not going after you want, and I really don't understand why people procrastinate and delay their dreams and their goals. I mean, for what?
yeah,
You're going to die.
yeah.
You're literally going to die, and relatively soon. So what do you wait? Like, what are you waiting for? Oh, you're not ready. Oh, I'm scared. I'm like, who cares? Go after it, man. You're gonna die soon.
I love that, man. And what would you say? Because you see everyone's files, you see, you've built it yourself. What's the difference between someone that like dabbles in real estate or goes for it and builds that empire?
Most people just don't pull the trigger, right? If I look at most of my clients, coaching students, mortgage clients, if you go to any real estate conference, or very few people own like 10 properties or more.
Yeah,
Most people might own a couple, despite them talking about it, mingling about it, researching on it. People don't pull the trigger because of that fear of the what ifs, right? People that really break through, myself, a couple of my business partners, we've always had that mindset that mediocrity is just not an option. Therefore, you don't have an option.
I love it.
So it's just like, oh, I have the choice to be wealthy and create something, or I have the choice to be bogged down by fear. But if you don't take action, you don't do something, you're going to get what you already have, which is mediocrity at best. And people just live in that bubble. They justify their inaction. They tell themselves certain things that I'm thinking about it or I will do it. And it's just they're just kicking the can down the road and their own demise, really.
Yeah, it's almost like there has to be some sort of pain point. Like there's some sort of mind sh set shift. Like with you, was there a book? Was there something that kind of triggered or was it just kind of like, okay, this isn't working. I got to break this poverty mindset or
Not really, and I'm very fortunate for that. People ask me that a lot, and you just sometimes you just have the mindset or you don't. It's instinctive. I
yeah,
know when I started, I'm 43. When I started investing at 30, I just knew that mediocrity was not an option. Okay,
love
so
it.
therefore, if it's not an option, you have to do this. So the pain, so to speak, of not having money, not having the experience, not having a coach, not knowing what I'm doing, that was so small compared to the fire that I had to build something. It was not a choice for me. It was technically a choice, but there was really no option. I didn't care. I'd rather lose it all than to have mediocrity.
I love it, man.
And
So
that's really the decision most people have at the end of the day. It's like, how bad do you want it? And people talk to me all the time. What they say they want is different than their actions. They're like, okay, I want financial freedom and I want to make $5 million, but what you're doing is mathematically not going to get you to what you're saying you want. So why are you doing it?
yeah,
It makes no sense to me.
it's almost like the start with the end in mind sort of theory, eh?
You could look at it that way. Yeah, it's just like but you have to match your actions with your goals. To say you want something and then do something completely, contradictory to that, that is insanity to me.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. It's like, well, I'm scared. I'm like, okay, then either get over your fear or change your goals.
Hmm.
Very simple.
That's a good point. I was actually just reading a book and it was saying how basically you're just the sum of your habits. Like you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you're saying, it's like if you have this goal you want to get somewhere, you got to have the habits, the small wins to get to that point.
Yeah, habits are a good one. Just like, and we all have habits, good and bad. And then like I guess my habits would just be like I always pull a trigger. I know that I will always work something out despite like right now I just had a call with my team about the market, right? I have 9 of my properties across for sale across Canada. I'm testing out the market. I have condos, an apartment building, a row home, a cottage, a variety of things. Nothing's selling, right? So then we made a decision that we got to hold it, right? So you just have to like deal with the situations as they come. And that's the habits of just getting into like that particular habit is I just know I will always work it out. It'll always work out. You just have to be cognitive and rational and don't let emotions drive you, things like that.
Pivot as needed. That's awesome, man.
I've never lost in real estate, and the reason being is that I don't let fear control me, and I also always have multiple plans, right? So it's like, for example, these condos I own in downtown Ottawa, I bought them 3 years ago, and I wanted to assign them, maybe basically flipping prior to
Yep.
closing. The market is not strong, therefore I have to close them, rent them, and ride it out a bit. But some people, if you don't have the capacity to close on them and hold them, you're going to lose money,
Hmm.
right? So I'm in a position where, okay, I have plan B and plan C. I'm not getting emotional. I'm not saying, oh my God, the market sucks, or why is this? It is what it is. You have to be pragmatic and deal with things.
Awesome, man. And with your huge portfolio that you've built over this time, as you say, like a starting investor, what kind of systems should you be building while you scale?
That's a good question in terms of systems. I would recommend the first thing is just do something, right? I was just chatting with a client today. She's all over the place. It's literally it's frustrating to work with her because she's like, oh, I'm looking at this apartment building in Nova Scotia. Now I'm buying in Ohio, and then maybe a new build, and maybe Airbnb in Florida. I'm just like, and this has been going on for 8 months. And guess what's happened in 8 months?
Nothing.
Nothing. She hasn't bought anything.
Hmm.
She's overwhelmed by choice, and she's convincing herself that she's analyzing, but what you're really doing is procrastinating. So honestly, my first advice to anybody who's just starting, do something. Do something. When I bought my first house, it was $138,000 semi-detached in Cornwall. Why did I buy it? Even now, I don't even know. I just bought it. And my second one was a $90,000 dump. And then the third one was another semi for like 136,000. I just bought these things, right? So my advice is to just get into the game, okay, first and foremost. But obviously, you want to do things on a smaller scale to start because I have people like, oh, my first project's going to be like an apartment building in a different province. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you set yourself up for that? What is there? Is there no deals in your own backyard?
Yep.
right? So stick in your lane to start to get some experience, self-manage your properties, get familiar. Like I've managed my own properties, I've managed my own assets. I have assistants now, but I've done all of those jobs. So you have to really start small to get a feeling for what it is. But again, with the caveat of do something.
Yeah.
Some doing something is better, always better than doing nothing. And people always say, like, what's the best deal? What should I really buy? I'm like, look, there's multiple things you can invest in. It's like when someone says, where should I, they're going to a different city in a different country. Hey, you've been there, Brock. Where should I go for dinner? There's not just one choice.
Yeah.
There's multiple good places to go for dinner. Same thing with real estate. There's no perfect thing, but people are always looking for that perfect deal. And they end up doing nothing because they're like, well, this one's good, but maybe there's a perfect one. And then
Yep.
they just waste time.
Yep.
How about you settle on a pretty good deal? Right?
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you recommend like kind of when you're starting out then that's kind of more like the rich dad, poor dad philosophy almost, eh? Self-manage, start with the like start and then build your way up through personal education where you have someone like a Grant Cardone where obviously he has some side interest where he wants you going in on his deals too, but where it's like, go for that at least 32 units, whatever, find that deal sort of thing. So,
Yeah, I think you graduate to that. I think you got like I've done every type of deal under the sun. I've done single family, duplexes, triplex, commercial, student properties, assignments, vacant land, new construction, brokering, assignments, raising capital, multifamily. I've done it all, and you kind of find you kind of find your way and find your niche flips. You find your way, find your niche, but
mhm.
you got to start slow. I'm not talking like investing slow. Go be ambitious, but don't overshoot,
Yeah.
right? Because if you have it, I've seen it too many times where someone buys something that is really just outside of their expertise, and then they don't know what they're doing. They mismanage their finances, and they're like, "Oh, real estate's risky." I'm like, "No, no, don't blame real estate. Blame
Yep.
yourself.
Your
Blame yourself.
education.
Yeah,
And
blame
then
yourself."
guys like you come in and they get that deal on discount.
Sometimes, man, sometimes, yeah. Like I've not, it's just crazy what because I've been doing this literally for 13 years. I bought my first house 13 years ago. And I can remember it because I was only 30, and I'm just not knowing what I was doing, but and not caring though because I'm like I have to do something.
That's great, man, because like it's almost like the failure way to success mindset almost, right? Like you just rack it up as you go and obviously you pivot as needed, but like the which seems to be kind of the motto for most people who have been there and done it.
Yeah, yeah. I knew that the benefits, like hindsight's always 2020. If I restarted knowing what I know, would I go through the same process for 13 years? Likely not.
Hmm.
Right? But I knew instinctively that making moves would put me ahead of the game relative to any bumps and bruises and hurdles along the way. I just knew that instinctively. And I never had that like, am I buying the perfect investment? Like that question never even entered my brain. Is this the perfect thing? I said, no, it's something. I'm doing something.
And typically when there's 10 perfect deals, like when you're starting out especially, like the good deals never even hit market. So the qualified investors that they know they're gonna act on it, that's going there first. But even not, like if it is hit on market and you do have that opportunity, if you're there doing the like analysis paralysis by analysis sort of thing, you're
Yep.
never gonna execute like you're recommending, right?
Never, man. Just what I'm just saying, like, just get your feet wet, get comfortable, like I'm dealing right now with a client who makes 300 grand a year and she's 47 and never bought a house. And I'm
Wow.
like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like you're timing yourself out. Like, and it's sad to watch because this person is justifying all of the indecision she's making. Right.
Hmm.
And I said, I'm not going to say her name, but I'm like, you have convinced yourself for 47 years not to buy, right? It's not from a capacity standpoint. You have perfect credit and you make 300 grand a year. But there's always a reason why you're not doing something. And
Hmm.
that is mindset. You gotta break that down. When I coach people like this, we're not going over I'm not going over different opportunities and finances. I gotta break down the psyche. I gotta break down the why have you not pulled the trigger in 47 years?
That's true, eh?
That's crazy to me, man. And we kind of worked out a financial plan with her. So we realized that based on her dream life, she needed $3 million by 55, which is 8 years. So because she's delayed and procrastinated so much, she needs to grow her money 75% per year to hit her goal, which is crazy.
Hmm.
It's I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's extremely ambitious. And the problem is that that's what procrastination does. It kills you mathematically. If you start when you're 20, you can make so many errors because the time compounding effect is on your side. When you wait to 47 and people wait later than that, you're almost mathematically priced out. There's nothing you can do. Right. And
Time
it's
in the
just like,
market beats
get
time in the
in the
market.
game, man. Get in the
Yeah.
game. Stop it's just, and that's all fear, man. That's all mindset. That's all just, so a lot of people that I deal with that are first time investors, we break through a lot of mindset. I give them things like set dates. In 90 days, you're pulling the trigger, hell or high water. I have them write themselves letters saying today is September 1st. And oh my God, I just got the keys to my new property, and they're reading it to themselves every day. I'm manifesting that action.
That's amazing, man. And sometimes accountability is just what people need, and that
It
fire put under them, right? They're caught in their day to day. They're caught in those bad habits. They're caught in the bad mindset where, that where they're the people who aren't real estate investors or don't have the education, aren't investors, are telling them that's risky, don't do it. They're having it's getting that mindset put into them, which is what you're doing. That's great, man.
Well, you have to break it. Think about this. A 47-year-old has never pulled a trigger. That means that all of her habits, as you mentioned earlier, all of her habits and her default processes are to convince her to not do something.
It's true.
Right. So every time she's looked at something, she's found a reason she hasn't done it. Right.
Yeah.
What's interesting is when I told her, I said, look, we're going to set a goal for 90 days and you're doing something. You're going to put a poster in your bathroom and you're going to read it every day, September 1st. You're going to put it in your phone. You're going to post it on Facebook and tell your friends, oh my God, I'm buying. You're going to create that manifestation, right? So
Yeah.
I told her, I said, get ready. Your default subconscious is going to try to sabotage it. And why do I know that? Because you've done it for 47 years. Your mind only knows how to not pull the trigger. So it's going to try to pull you back. And she remember texting me. She's like, "Oh my God, I was just reading an article about like why I should invest in real estate, and I caught myself making another excuse not to buy." I said, "I told you, right? We got to break through that kind of stuff." It's
That's
a lot.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Because like I was saying, is like I've done a couple podcasts with people, and that's the number one thing. It's like the mindset shift. It's training your mindset. It's so
Yeah, just like again, it's just these people that they say thing and they say something and then they do
the
something.
opposite.
It's no different than like, oh, I'm tired of being overweight. Okay, but you don't go to the gym and you eat like shit. But I'm
Yeah.
tired of being overweight. But they're thinking about it, right? We're researching it online, which convince them that they're actually taking steps. But in reality, you're not.
Yep.
You're not doing anything. Get your ass to the gym.
That's it.
Okay.
100%.
And go
And
for anything in life. Anything in life is about action and discipline. And then that's on you.
I love it, man.
But yeah.
If you had one book that you would recommend somebody for, I think mindset would be a great one, but financial freedom, real estate investing. I know you have some books yourself.
Yeah, let me show you my book. Yeah, I wrote two books. I'll show you my book live. There's one that I can't remember the name here. I just finished reading it. There's my book library.
Awesome.
It is it's about self sabotage. Let me find it for you for the sake of um
I can also drop it in the
well, I
link
will,
too
I
if
will,
you
for the
can't find
sake of
it.
the recording, I will find it to you. But basically, it's about self sabotage, right? So
Hmm.
it's about emotional awareness. So it's not really about financial technical stuff, because in my opinion, people that are financially successful, they become knowledgeable technically from action.
Hmm.
You don't learn how to be an investor by reading a book. You learn it by doing something, right?
Hmm.
So the biggest I've learned all of what I've learned by doing. I've never gone to a conference. I'm like, wow, and then just wrote it down and then just you have to
Yep.
do it. You have to learn by doing it, right?
Yep.
So the books that I recommend are the ones that will kind of break down the psyche and help change your mindset and your attitude and your lifestyle. And there's one about self-sabotage, which is kind of what we were just talking about, in that being emotionally aware of in the moment of what you're doing. Like, this client, right? Where once somebody tells you, like, do you know what you're doing? And then when she actually starts making excuse in her head, she's like, oh my God, now she's aware of what she's doing. Before it was subconscious. She's like, oh, it's just not a good time. It's not a good market. My daughter's in university or whatever.
Yep.
But now she's like, because I was telling her what's going on, now she's like, holy shit, right? Holy shit, I just did it,
Yep.
right? So it's all about self-sabotage because we all do it, right? We all do things subconsciously against our own benefit. And it's tough to change those and to make a shift until we become aware of it.
Awesome, man.
So I will find that book and I'll send it to you. But um, yeah, that's and there's actually another one just called emotional intelligence. It's just like embracing all of the emotions you have. I'll give you an example of fear, right? So let's just say you're a first time buyer and you're scared to pull the trigger. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm fearful or I'm anxious. Instead of trying to like take a pill to get rid of the anxiety, how about you sit there and go, you're like, okay, thank you, body, for producing this fear and this anxiety. I know you're trying to tell me something.
Mhm.
And you're trying to analyze, okay, why is my body creating this anxiety? And you start to analyze and understand what it's trying to tell you, right?
Yep.
So it's really about, and not being like, we don't, imagine a group of guys were hanging out, right? And one guy was crying for some reason. We would all be like, loser, you're a, oh, you learn to just, okay, like embrace crying as like, okay, it's my body reacting to something. Why is it crying? Why am I emotional? Embracing that stuff. We're all emotional.
Yep.
Emotions is just part of having a human body. So it's really about understanding your emotions, being okay with it, not trying to like, stop crying, you baby. How would you just let your person cry, let you be anxious, let you be fearful, and then setting back and understanding the meaning behind that? Because our bodies create emotions
Mhm.
for our survival, for our benefit. They're trying to tell us something, right? Back in the day, fear right now, or stage fright is another one example, right?
Yep.
Our body produces state of fear or anxiety when you're about to speak on stage, because fight or flight, we think that we're going to actually die. Clearly it's not. You're not going to die from speaking on stage, but biologically we have this reaction,
Response. Yeah.
right? So that's another one. We just say, okay, it's anxiety, it's normal, I understand why my body's doing it. It thinks that I'm a caveman 30,000 years ago and all these people are going to eat me and kill me. It's not real, and kind of move from there instead of trying to like, oh my God, I'm anxious, and try to take a pill and doing a shot of vodka before you speak. That's not helpful.
That's actually true, man. I never really thought about it like that. And actually, I think it was Dan Pena. I don't know if you've heard of that guy before. I think he said, 2/3 of top CEOs, they have like a military background or martial arts or something that has that, where you basically control your mind and you don't let it control you. So that's spot on, man. I'm gonna,
It's really, really important, and I've just got to learn. Like I get anxiety about once a month, okay, for example. So, and it's anxiety is not real. It's the feeling is real, but the reason behind it is false. Okay, so I've learned to just deal with it. I just let it go. I don't say, "Oh, I'm freaking having an anxiety attack. I gotta pop a pill or sit in the dark." I just kind of like, okay, and I just tell myself, I said, "You," in my head, I'm like consciously, this will go away at some point because it always does. It's
Mhm.
not real. There's nothing wrong. There's no issue, and I'm just embracing it,
I love
right?
it, man.
Yeah, and that really, and let's tie this to real estate for investing for example. There's so many times where I've had I've seen people do things in real estate against their own benefit because of emotion. Okay. One bad tenant, and then you just like, screw real estate, I hate it. Right.
Yeah.
Or one bad tenant, they're like, I'm selling the property, but it's in a down market, so they lose money, and then they say real estate sucks.
Yep.
Right? I have taught myself to be. I am the most practical and pragmatic, I would say. I embrace things for what they are, and I don't stress over things that I don't control. It's pointless to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like right now, I told you earlier that I have 9 properties for sale, whatever. Okay, they're not selling. Instead of freaking out, I'm like, okay, they're not selling, pivot.
Yep.
Okay, because me stressing about them not selling will not change the market.
100%.
So why stress? It's
Yep.
pointless. It's absolutely pointless. So people really need to get a hold of their emotions too, or other people that are scatterbrained,
Hmm.
right? Overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed by choice and indecision. You got to kind of step back and say, like, why am I overwhelmed?
I love it.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
All right, the with the podcast being the framework, if you were to start off today with nothing, what would you do in your first like 30 days to build up yourself and your wealth back?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always focus on growth, right? And I had this
Mhm.
had these chats all the time, and I think we talked about it when we met personally. But growth versus cash flow in real estate, especially, people always focus on cash flow.
Mhm.
And it's instinctively it makes sense, or not instinctively, it on the surface it makes sense, right? If you have a
Yep.
property, you want the income to cover the expenses, and if it doesn't cover the expenses, we instinctively think it's a loss.
Mhm.
That's the wrong approach. Okay, because I'll give you an example. One of my projects in Alberta, we have about a cash deficit of about 1,500 a month. Okay, meaning $1,500 more a month in expenses than income, all
Mhm.
combined, mortgages and taxes and all that stuff. We pay off our mortgage though every month about 12 G's.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
that's a net gain of 10,500, not even factoring appreciation,
Mhm.
right? But most people on the surface say, "Oh my God, you're losing $1,500 a month." No, there's a fundamental difference between a loss and a cash deficit, right?
Yep.
I just had a client, this indecisive woman, who's texting me today because there's an opportunity for her to buy a property for no money down, literally nothing.
Mhm.
She's like, "Yeah, but I'm losing 350 a month." I said, "But look at the growth. You're paying down the mortgage and the property's appreciating.
Mhm.
So your return on investment is infinite because you're putting zero down,
Yep.
right? So you need to focus on growth. Like, what if I'll give you another example so the viewers can really understand the point. If I told you, Garrett, I got a great property for you. You can buy it for 500, and you're going to lose $1,000 a month. You're like, it doesn't just with that info doesn't sound great. But what if I told you it was worth 700?
Yep.
You just made 200. You just made 200 grand.
Yep.
Okay, so you're 12 grand a month out of pocket, but you're 200 grand up on day one.
Yep.
That is growth mindset. So when you're
100%.
starting out and you have no net worth, you need to grow because an extra $500 a month is not going to change your life. People are like, "Oh, I'm going to buy a property, it makes 5 grand a month." I'm like, okay, that's 6 grand a year.
Mhm.
40 years, that's 240 grand.
Yep.
Who cares? Who cares? That's not enough. That's the problem is that people, when they pull the trigger, they pull the wrong trigger. You got to focus on growth. So I would look at, if I was just starting out, I would start off with properties that I could buy undervalued, distressed properties that I could add basement apartments to, renovate them, things like that to force growth on the money. I wouldn't focus on, and then once you have enough assets, the reason I'm looking to liquidate my stuff now is because I have enough assets. I don't
Mhm.
need to grow like I used to need to grow. Obviously, I still want to grow, but it's not as important as it was when I started with zero.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, Brock. I really appreciate it. If I love your content, is there anywhere that people can go to say get any of your coaching, your
Yeah.
education, things like
Well,
that?
it's all in one stop shop, man, at brockfrost.com. You can reach out to me there, coaching, real estate, my private lending company, mortgage brokering. Hit me up, and then, yeah, we'll go from there.
All right, Brock, appreciate your time, man.
All right, man. Garrett, you're a star, man. Take care.
Cheers.